To another edition of the North Florida High School Football Gridiron Show here on North Florida Sports Talk Network. Marty Pallman along with Corey Davis. As we welcome you to another edition here from Beef O'Brady's and Stark. Going to be an interesting night tonight. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, last time we were sitting outside, it was live PD and Stark. We had so many cop cars go by. Hopefully we'll have a repeat of that.
There's a lot of cars here at Beef O'Brady's. They're very busy tonight. We'll tell you about them as the show goes on. But yeah, we've been relocated outside. That's fine, no problem there. And as you said, the first show we did was back in August. It was also like 100 degrees. It's a little cooler tonight. It's starting to feel like fall last day or two. But of course, last week we had Jamie Rogers and Bradford on. They went to Keystone Heights and won big as we kind of expected, 53-0. So now Bradford this week. The district, they play
Appalachia
this week. Appalachia this week. That's right. But you were last week at Appalachia and Santa Fe.
Newberry.
Oh no, that was 2 weeks ago. Newberry. I'm getting everything confused now. Yeah, the last week you saw Appalachia and Newberry. Newberry gets the win there. They needed that win, but now that puts Appalachia kind of in a tough situation.
Well, essentially, Appalachia either has to win Friday or their season's over with. They can't likely get a wild card. If they lose to Bradford, even if they win the rest of their games afterwards, they still likely don't get a wild card.
Yeah, that's right. And have to move up in the points and only have one win to this point this season. And that's going to be the tough one to get against Bradford. So we'll see, though. As this week you're going to be at which game?
No, I'm
City.
going to the beatdown. Orlando Christian Prep in Crescent City.
Oh, God. Ouch. Yeah, that's OCP's pretty good. Yeah, that'll be a tough one. I got to take a trip to Tallahassee on Friday. We're going to Rickards, actually Rickards High School, which I've never been to. And we're also going to, we're going to be outside.
I've been there for basketball.
The press box is small.
They have a nice basketball gym.
Yeah. They've had a really good basketball program through the years. And the press box is pretty small, so hopefully the weather will be good. I think we're going to be outside, but I think it should be okay. It'll be good because I think we're going to be outside, but I think it should be okay. Last week was that Bishop Kenny Terry Parker game was terrible. I mean, it was 42-0 in the first quarter. Parker, anything they could do wrong, they did. 4 turnovers in the first period. It was over by a running clock. Actually, it's the first game I've ever been to where there was a running clock at the end of the first quarter.
Oh, wow.
And the coaches agreed to start the running clock in the second quarter. So the game ended up taking less than 2 hours after that. But anyway, so this week we'll think we're going to have a better game there in Tallahassee with Bishop Kenny Rickards. But tonight, a lot to talk about. We'll get to our picks later in the show. And again, another good week of picks for us last week. And a lot of records to talk about this week here in our North Florida High School Gridiron Report. It starts with, we mentioned this last week, among people chasing history, Coach Robbie Pruitt got the win. He got his 200th win in Florida. Williston went to Trinity Catholic, won 49-21, and he now has 209 wins in Georgia and 200 in Florida. And as you said here, he won his 400th game overall last year, beating Trinity Catholic at Williston. So Coach Pruitt, he's set a lot of records. He's already in the FHSA Hall of Fame, and he gets another record there.
I got to credit Mike right out with all the information. Mike wrote a nice piece about Pruitt and Chase about the record. No other coach in the nation has won 200 games in 2 states. So Coach Pruitt became the first coach to do that.
First one. I think there's another coach that's close.
Well,
right?
It's going to take a while to get there. It's going to take. There's 2 other coaches that could do it, but it's going to take a while. There's 2 other coaches that could do it. Also, Randy McPherson won a state title in Florida and in Georgia.
Madison County.
Madison, and I'm not sure he coached in Georgia. So he hasn't won 200 in each, but he has won a state title in each state.
Yeah, that's right. So Robbie Pruitt has won state. Right?
Not in both.
One state.
Pruitt has won in Union County.
No, I know that. And the University of Christian, has he won in Georgia a state title?
No.
Oh, he has not. Okay. He was there a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Randy
okay.
McPherson is the only one that's ever done
He's the only one. Okay. That's interesting. And I do remember that. I think that Madison County title was like 98, 99, somewhere in there. It was a while ago. But anyway, so congratulations, Coach Pruitt. Williston gets another win. They won 4 to since they lost to Chiefland. I think we talked about Hilliard's J.J. Alderman last week. Had 7 touchdowns and 477 yards on 24 carries. Well, Xander Edwards decided to go one better than that. The Bulls sophomore, he's a sophomore, by the way, at last week at Pallman, 522 yards, 8 touchdowns on 39 carries. And this game, by the way, was a basketball game. 73-49 Bulls won this game at Pallman. They need almost all of his touchdowns to win this game.
Baldwin needs to fire their defensive coordinator. The last 2 weeks, they've given up close to 100 points.
That's the only problem they've had, because they could score points, obviously. They scored 48 against Baker County and lost. They scored 49 against Falls and lost. But as it goes, that they do. Xander Edwards does break Derrick Henry's single-game rushing record of 6 touchdowns for Yulee. Also, he had the record, had Henry, for 502 yards and 6 touchdowns in a Yulee win over Jackson in 2012. The record before that was set by Sandalwood. Tailback Marty Swells. It's always someone's in Jacksonville, apparently. But 429 yards, Marty Swells.
Henry had the record broke in 21 by Baker's Caleb Wagner, who ran for 535 against Southpaw.
Yeah, that's softball. So, that's some crazy news. Baker,
on Friday night,
right.
Everybody was like, Edwards broke Henry's record. Well, Scott McDaniel informed everybody Saturday on social media. I saw him tweet at Max Prep. Hey, I was at a game where a guy broke Henry's record. November 11, 2011. St. John Lutheran tailback Caleb Alec ran for 469, 8 touchdowns.
In a loss.
On 36 carries in a 69-61 Oak-Hall win.
Yeah, Scott McDaniel was coaching Oak-Hall that night, and boy, talk about 468 yards, 8 touchdowns, and you lose. That's a tough one. That's another basketball score, 69-61. And by the way, November 11th, 2011, 11-11-11. Not too bad. I guess I should have known something was going to happen there. But Mike Rideout broadcast that game. Asked him a little bit about that as well. So, they thanks to Coach McDaniel for reaching out and kind of setting it straight. Because, everyone kind of thought that was the record from Xander Edwards. But he tied a record. So, now Caleb Alexander actually became the head coach of St. John Lutheran for a while. I remember meeting him quite a few times, but he had quite a career at St. John Lutheran. Back when they had a really good program back then. Since then, they've they've dropped to 8-man football and kind of struggled a little bit. But that was quite a game Oak-Hall and St. John Lutheran played. And I was telling you earlier, I did a Clay Bishop Kenny playoff game in 2013 where Bishop Kenny lost 74-73 in regulation, and John Wolford had 10 total touchdowns, the quarterback for Bishop Kenny, but 7 of them were passing. They happen with the Yankees. They're very excited about it. Anyway, a baseball playoff starting this week, so it's kind of cool. But anyway, congratulations to Xander Edwards. Crazy numbers for Bulls as they get another win. That was their district opener in 2A District 4 too. So, meanwhile, it's according to On3, D. Stevens coordinator Robert Garth has been suspended 6 weeks, according to a sanctions letter from the FHSA to the school. They handed out a $5,000 fine and 6-week ban to Garth stemming from illegal communication with a student athlete via social media. This has been put on administrative probation for 1 calendar year, along with being levied a $2,500 fine.
Yeah, according to what I've read, he had several communications through Twitter, maybe Facebook, with the student athlete, and the kid was homeschooled. They weren't sure what team he was going to play for. So Garth continued to contact him to see what school he was going to go to. So is it innocent, or did he have a violation? Apparently he had a violation. Because the kid chose not to go. Because Garth
but because
communicated with him several times.
That's for true.
Right. So that's a story that Corey's bringing to you here. Again, it was Corey on 3, so we credit them for that story. But interesting there that that's going on. Nice, of course, lost their second straight game last week to Buchholz in their district 27-7. So they're going to need to win a couple games now after that. Meanwhile, several teams are on bye this week. Baldwin, Bartram Trail, Bowles, Clay, Eastside, Father Lopez, Fernandina Beach, Jackson, Menendez, Middleburg, Nice, Oakleaf, Pearson Taylor, Ponte Vedra, Spruce Creek, St. Augustine, Swanee, Terry Parker, and Yulee. Parker needs
so does Baldwin.
So does Baldwin.
So does Baldwin. So does Nice, really. And also Clay.
Well, Clay got the first window.
Clay got the first window.
Oh, they did. They beat. Who did they beat?
They beat Richfield.
They did beat Richfield.
They're 1-0.
Bartram Trail got their second straight. Yep, Trail got their second straight win after an 0-4 start. Tough year for them. Yulee's still unbeaten. Also unbeaten is Middleburg, even though, again, they beat Orange Park last week. They've yet to really beat anyone with a winning record.
And I argued with Josh Wilson about that the other day. And he's like, put some respect on our name. And I was like, okay, your preseason games are over.
Get my name out of your mouth.
The last 4 games of the season, they actually play somebody.
Yeah, well, they got to get to district play, and that district.
Ponte Fleming,
Yeah.
Eastside.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
And I don't remember the last round.
Fleming Island took a beating from Ponte Vedra, but yeah, that's you're right. That's going to be tougher for Middleburg. Orange Park, I thought might give them a game, but nope, 28-0 was the score. So Middleburg wins that rivalry game as well. And you mentioned Bowles; they'll have a week off this week. Oakleaf, they beat Fletcher up at out the beach last Friday night. 38-9 was the score there, and that was a district game as well.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that as well.
You're good ahead.
As you said, though, the schedule. A lot of teams are on bye. I'm sure we'll have some good picks, but there are some big games this week. You mentioned Bradford at Palaca, 285. That's where District 5. That's where I guess Mark will be from the Palaca Daily News. Newberry at Santa Fe, so that's a good rivalry game. And Santa Fe now is going to need a win after losing to University Christian. All this is their district opener. Newberry coming off the win against Palaca. Oh, wait, Santa Fe beat Palaca. They're both 1-0 in the district. District 1A2, Episcopal at North Florida Educational in FEI in Jacksonville. District 1A3, Impact Christian at Providence. And, yep, Saturday afternoon, Northwest Classic. I don't know how good of a game this is going to be between Rains and Revolt, but it's always a good
we talk
rivalry.
about how much St. Augustine dominates Palaca 12 in a row. Rains is on the verge of doing that. Rains is on the verge of Revolt. They won for like the last decade.
That's hard to believe.
That's
hard to believe because there was a period of time when they literally went back and forth winning every year. And I remember some years when Revolt had no business and they beat Rains. But yeah, lately Revolt's had a little bit of a downward, turn, and Rains has really been good. I heard Coach Donovan Massline last week on the 1010XL poster talking about that game. And the thing he said was, "Yeah, it's great. We start off with a barbecue, so we're going to have that going. And then we have, of course, the tailgating before the game, and then the battle of the bands. Everything. It's almost like the football game is kind of a side.
I've been to the game several times. They plan their reunions around that game. Class of 85.
Yeah.
Class of 95 will be there.
Yeah. Well, it used to be the first week in November because they play the last game of the season. Now it's because they're not in the same district, they play earlier. But I've only been to the game at Revolt. I've never been to the game at Rains before.
Well, up until the improvement, I always preferred the game to be at Rains because Rains had a better field. The stadium, the stadium. Well,
is
I haven't
better?
been to the news one yet.
I haven't been
going into this year yet. But the game at Rains was always much better. But now the Revolt got a brand new scoreboard, a brand new field, brand new. I don't know about the actual stadium, but it's a brand new facility. It's a much better improvement. It's a much better.
This is the high school football gridiron report here on North Florida Football Talk. Marty, Pallman, Corey Davis with you from Beef Brady's here at Stark. And no guests this week. We'll probably try to get some guests for next week's show. By the way, in 3 weeks, our show will be on Monday, October 20th. Got a game on the 22nd, that Wednesday, so we'll do the show Monday the 20th. That's in a few weeks, though, still off, but we'll be back on Wednesday the next couple of weeks as well. Okay, so let's look ahead and take a look back at last week in Ocala. Starting in Ocala, South Sumter 24, North Marion 19. This is a district opener for these two. South Sumter got it to a 17-0 lead and held on to ruin North Marion's homecoming. South Sumter 5-1, 1-0 in 3. District 5, North Marion 2-4 and 0-1. A good ball game there, though.
But this is what I don't understand. Homecoming typically is against a team you normally could beat. Why would you schedule South Sumter for homecoming?
I don't know. It's the way the home schedule sometimes falls, I guess. But you're right. It's a little strange. It's your district opener and it's a homecoming game. But speaking of district games, Vanguard goes to 2-0 in their district as they take care of Lecanto 20-3. A defensive struggle. Actually, said an offensive struggle, but yeah. Vanguard now goes to 2-0. They've won 5 in a row since they 13 points in the second half. 13 point and a half, and their defense shut down Lecanto. So 4-8-5, October 24th at GHS. They'll be a big favorite in that game. Short Citizens Field against Gainesville. But that won't be for another month or 3 weeks almost before they play that game as well. Meanwhile, 6A District 6 South Lake, the Eagles. We haven't talked a lot about them way down there in Groveland, in Lake County, but they came back at Hull actually. Forest, really improved Forest team, 30-25. South Lake now 5-1 and 2-0 in that district. Forest 3-2 and 1-1. As South Lake was up 10-0 at halftime, got outscored in the second half. 25-20 was able to hold on and win that game.
Coach Hawley continues to work the magic over there at South Lake. The former Bronson coach is doing well at South Lake, and I believe they were in the playoffs last year.
They were, yeah, you're right. Meanwhile, this is the big game, M3 District 5. The Eastside Rams go on the road. We said it was going to be a tough place to go in Denellen, and it was. Eastside holds on to beat Denellen 16-14. They were up 9-0 at halftime, so another defensive struggle there. But Eastside now 4-2. They come back from that loss to Bradford the week before, and they get a win to go to 1-0 district play. Denellen now 2-4, and that was their district opener as well. They're 0-1. So Eastside now is in position to win this district. They're going to have to get past South Sumter, though.
Which is going to be a tough assignment for them.
And they have them at Citizens Field at home in a few weeks. So last year, Eastside went down to Bushnell and lost. So how that in the area of Chloe 42, Westport nothing. Chloe 42, Westport nothing. District opener for Westport. They're 7-8-5. Westport's in 7-8. That surprises me a little bit, but they're about the only school in the area that's in 7A that can take, other than Jacksonville area, Sandalwood and Atlantic Coast, I believe. But Lake Weir, they drop a game to Pine Ridge out of Deltona 12-6. So Lake Weir goes to 3-3. Weir goes to 3-3. The Villages, they stay unbeaten as Bellevue now falls to 1-5. They go back on a 2-game losing streak after their win against Dixie County. Villages beats them 40-0. Ocala Christian goes to 5-2 with a 50-26 win over Leesburg First Academy. And well, I guess we talk about St. John Lutheran playing a 69-61 game against Ocala. They played a 60-56 game last week against Gainesville Christian. Quite a game there.
Yeah, and I was actually out there Friday night, and the game was in Ocala, unfortunately. But I was looking to see if I could see the cornfield, football field. But I did see the corn maze. Out there between Newbury.
You did? Yeah, this should be going.
Oh yeah, it was
or
packed.
at least start maybe.
Oh yeah, it was packed.
Yeah. I figure it usually starts in September, and now we're in October this week. But
by the way,
anyway, so
that big Villages win over Bellevue propelled them over Bradford in the latest RPI ranking. Villages is the number 1 team in Region 2-2A. Bradford now becomes number 2 after the win over Bellevue.
Wow, there you go. So Bradford's number 2, you said? Okay.
Yes.
Behind the Villages. All right. Interesting. A good start for them this year as well. So they, again, they go to 6-0 on the season for that win. So that's a look at Ocala. Let's move on to Gainesville. A game we talked about last week. As it turned out, Beholtz pulled away from Nice. It was a 13-7 game at halftime, but Beholtz came out in the second half and shut down the Nice Panthers. So Akil McGriff, they found out that he is out for the rest of the season. He's been out all season anyway with injury, so that's his senior year. He's done at Buchholz, but Buchholz able to come back and get a big win. It's just stunning. I don't think I'm that surprised, but Buchholz, their revenge tour ends. They beat Manatee, Richmond Hill, and Nice all in a row. All three teams that beat them last year, and they go to 5-1, 1-0, and 6A3. Nice falls to 4-2, 0-1. Is Josh Minifree at 109 yards and a touchdown for sophomore tailback for Buchholz. Big win for the Bobcats again. They just keep rolling.
Yeah, they keep finding ways to win the game, and their defense has been playing really well, shutting down a high-potent Nice team, which been averaging about 30, 35 points a game, and held them to only 7.
Right. And I know holding Nice to 7 is impressive, considering the week before St. Augustine and Nice played the 28-24 back and forth game. So this week Buchholz gets Gainesville High. It's Gainesville's first home game of the season, finally after 5 straight road games, and they will be home against Buchholz. Nice. Good start for them as they'll play on Friday night. Well, Newberry, the game you were at, Corey, wow, I didn't realize this. 13-0. Black was up with 4:30 to go. Newberry came back with 20 points late in the fourth quarter with 2 interceptions helping them to win and go to 2-0 in Class 2A5. Newberry wins 20-13. Black falls to 1-5 and 0-2 in district play. Quite a comeback for Newberry. Black was dominating that game, sounds like, but still scored points.
They made 2 bozo plays. When you're up 2 scores with only 4:30 left, you run the ball. You kill the clock. Newberry had 3 timeouts left. Regardless, if you don't even gain a yard, you make them take their timeout. You kill the clock. They easily allowed another minute on the clock by deciding to throw the ball back-to-back plays. They went for it on 4th down, incomplete pass, and then on other drives, they threw 2 interceptions, including one Elvis return for a pick 6. And that's what made it 20-13. Newberry taking a 14-13 lead. Blocka had the ball back, and they threw the ball again because they had to. And they returned it for a touchdown. So
struggle between those two. As Newberry, you said, they're in good shape in the district. They got Santa Fe and Bradford still to go, and of course that Bradford game probably will be for the district title there as well. Blacka needs to find a way to win some games.
Well, it all comes down to Friday. I mean, they got to get through Santa Fe first.
Well, that's true. I mean, not saying that's automatic this year because Santa Fe's better. I think the game's at Santa Fe, so yeah, it'll be a tough one. It usually is. It's a district game, but a rivalry game. It is a district game too, but. Meanwhile, University Christian, we talked about this. Santa Fe finally played somebody, and it was University Christian, and their undefeated start came to an end. Santa Fe drops to 4-1. University Christian 5-1 as UC went 49-17. Santa Fe ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw. But this game was 28-17 in the fourth quarter, but then UC scored, kind of wore them out late.
Well, you saw UC back in week 1, I think it was.
Yeah, they're tough. That's the only loss, in fact. And they lost to Bishop Kenny by 1 point on an extra point that got blocked. So, yeah, they're good. They run the ball. They're tough. But Santa Fe, that was going to be a tough matchup for them either way. See if they can get back on their winning ways this week against Newberry. Mentioned Bradford. They're doing District 5 opener. No problem with Keystone Heights, 53-0. Bradford now 5-1 and 1-0 district play. Keystone Heights 0-5, still winless 0-2 in district. And, yep. We thought this too about Chief Trenton. This would be Coach Fry, Bryant Price, put up his test. Yes, and it was. As Chiefland beats Trenton 41-0. Trenton's first loss of the season. Chiefland 5-1, as you say, playoff bound. And they are, pretty much. But Chiefland only one loss this year, so we're to Baker County, and they will roll Trenton.
Well, Trenton's likely going to the playoffs too. At 4-1 and with 5 games to go still. Coach Fry's done a heck of a job. And they just ran into a buzzsaw.
Yep. And Chiefland's good. I mean, we said that. They beat Williston way back week 1 as well, as Williston's only lost so far this season. Other scores of note this week: Bell 42. Dixie County 12. 2 wins in a row for the Bell Bulldogs as Dixie County's one-game winning streak comes to an end with the loss there. Brantford all over Hilliard, 37-13. The Bucks are 4-2. That's a pretty good score for Brantford.
Yeah, now they get to go to Interlochen this Friday.
So they'll probably win another game.
Yeah, but Interlochen's had a week off, so you never know after a week off.
That's true. They're coming off a win too, aren't they? Yeah, that's right. Countryside Christian 40, First Coast Christian 14. First win of the year for Countryside Christian. Florida Def.
By the way, I love their mascot.
Oh,
the Minutemen.
The Minutemen, yeah. Countryside Christian, I agree. Florida Def. About the Dragons, 3-1. Over St. Francis Catholic, 36-18. That's a 8-man game there. St. Francis is 2-4 now. Hamilton County all over Jefferson County. Wow, what has happened to Jefferson County? 32-0. The Trojans are 3-3 now. They even their
Gets back on the winning ways.
winning all over Wildwood 42-13. They're now 5-1.
Yeah, we've been following them every single week, and I think their only loss was they beat Swanee. Chiefland, I think, was their only loss.
Yes, that was the only loss. That's right. They beat Swanee. We'll talk about Swanee in a moment. Things are not going well there for the Bulldogs, but Oak Hall stays unbeaten. This game was rough. 5-0 is Oak Hall, and they beat PK Young 35-0. Was considered a rivalry game. The Blue Wave are 0-5, but they're just having a rough year for Willie Jackson. There's a picture our guy from Main Street Daily News took of Willie Jackson on the sideline, very upset with his team, basically almost snarling at them. So, yeah, he was upset in that game. He was not very happy, and they're having a tough season there at PK Young. Union County gets a win, second of the year. They beat Paxton 21-17 post game late as they go to 2-3, and then Wakulla over Swanee 30-23. Swanee now 1-5 and 0-2 in district play.
Yeah, that's I've covered Swanee, and I'm sure they're calling for Kyler Hall's job right now.
Yeah, they've had some good years for him too. But Wakulla, it's always a tough team in there. The War Eagles to play as well. But Union County getting a win, so good for them. That's their second win of the year. As they hold off Paxton. We talked about last week all that's been going on there with more players leaving, and that they really get a win for Coach Lamar Waters against the Paxton Golden Eagles out of Jacksonville. Speaking of Jacksonville, actually, before we go to Jacksonville, let's tell you about Beef O'Brady's. We're at Beef O'Brady's here in Stark, right on 301 across from Bradford High School in Stark. And as we mentioned, every week they do have the specials every day. On the Wednesdays, tonight, Wing Wednesdays for 99 cents, traditional or BOGO free boneless. Thursdays, $12.99 steak. Thursdays, ribeye or cheesesteak. Fish and chips Fridays, $11.49 for fish and chips. Saturdays, $11.99 cheeseburger and wings. Sunday, $1.99 kids combo. And then Mondays, you have $7.99 burger Mondays and the $7.99 two for Tuesday ultimate taco day on Tuesday. Plus, don't forget they have some newer. So we got some new things here. Game day playbook for football season as well. So. And we are, again, here at Beef O'Brady's. The triple meal deals, we'll tell you about that as well, starting at $10.99. And that you can get a starter meal and fries and fountain drink or iced tea. And your starters are chips and salsa house with Caesar salads. That's here at Beef O'Brady's. 40 years of beef. And then we are located on 301 here in Stark. All right, so let's take a look at Jacksonville now. We move along, and we mentioned that 73-49 Bulls over Baldwin. It was 14-7 Bulls the end of the first quarter, and then after that, it just kind of took off. But 24 points in the second period, 14 in the third, 21 in the fourth for the Bulldogs. Jaden Weatherly only threw for 10 passes, completed 5. He didn't really need to. 143 yards and a touchdown. Naheem Burrows, 4 for 111 to the score. But as we said, the big news there was Andrew Edwards. Clearly, they could run the ball all night, and they did, as he went over 500 yards and 8 touchdowns. But what a crazy score there, 73-49.
Yeah, you see that score and you think, oh, this is 6-man, 8-man football. No, this is regular 11-man football. Baldwin's defense is just really that bad. And Bowles' offense is really bad.
Really.
Yeah, it's interesting. Ball won.
Yeah, it's interesting because Pallman won 4 in a row to start the season. They lost to Baker County 51-48 and then to Bowles 73-49. So Baldwin's been scoring points as they go to 4-2 now, 0-1 in 2A District 4. But yeah, we kind of figured Bowles was the favorite there. And with that win, I think it's Wolfson and who else is in that district? It's not great.
Jackson.
So
Jackson.
yeah. So I think beating Baldwin was probably for the district title, honestly. But tough game for Ed White. Speaking of not having a defense, their perfect season comes to an end. They won their first 4 games. Merritt Island, down 49-33 with 7 minutes to go, scores 19 unanswered points. Liam Miller had a 43-yard walk-off field goal. Merritt Island wins at Ed White 52-49, Commander's first loss of the season.
Yeah, I saw a video of that
Yeah, I saw
last drive, and not only did he have to do it once, he had to do it twice.
He didn't do it twice.
Because originally it was a 48-yard field goal.
48.
Then they called offsides or delay. Well, delay game. It was a penalty on Ed White. So they moved it 5 yards closer. And so he makes the first one. They call a
5
flag.
yards closer.
They move it up 5
So
yards.
he makes the first one.
He makes the second one. So he actually did it twice. But what a big win for the Mustangs. But they lost to Cocoa and somebody else pretty good. So they're not a bad team.
Well, didn't we say last week Coco's not even really having a good year for them? Aren't they like 2-3 or something?
No, they're 2-3.
Yeah. That's not a bad schedule. I'm sure they play, knowing them. So Ed White gets their first loss. St. Augustine keeps rolling against another undefeated team in Columbia. This was their district opener as well. St. Augustine 41-21. Too many weapons for the Yellow Jackets. They're 6-0 and 1-0 in district play. That's in 5A. Britton James, Samuri, and Wingo and Durrell Preston all having big games. St. Augustine was up 14-7. They extended that to 28-7 early in the third quarter, and then they were able to roll from there. Columbia's first loss, they're 5-1 and 0-1 district play. I don't really think you have a whole lot to be disappointed about for Brian Allen. You kind of knew coming in they might be playing the best team in the area, and they can come back. I think they get Manatee this week. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting game to get back on the winning track. That will be in Lake City.
Yeah, I mean, tough loss for the Tigers, but they got bigger fish to fry. I mean, they'll probably run the table the rest of the year. Probably end up finishing like 9-1, and potentially host a first round playoff game. Yeah,
potentially. It looks like they will as well. St. Augustine is going to be home for a while. You would think they'll be the number 1 seed most likely, and they're reaching 1 in 5A. So, speaking of Oakleaf coming off a loss to Bowles the week before, bounces back big time. They're 6A district opener, or 2 district opener over Fletcher. They go to Fletcher 38-9 over Fletcher. The Senators fall to 4-2 and 0-1. Oakleaf had 7-0 in the first quarter, 17-3 at the half, and just kind of rolled from there to bounce back with a win. They're 5-1 and 1-0 in district play.
Yeah, the Knights are rolling except for that loss to Bowles, and like I said, Bowles might be one of the best teams in the area.
It's either them, St. Augustine, Rains, who knows, right? But West Nassau, we talked about this last week. Both teams lost their first games of the season a week ago. Fernandina Beach to Santa Fe, West Nassau to Yulee. Then they played each other as the rivals, and West Nassau gets the win 32-21. Is this at West Nassau? Is that West Nassau, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So the Warriors go to 6-1. Fernandina now 5-2. And Bartram Trail, mentioned the Bears, started 0-4. They've got 2 wins in a row against Orange Park
and Coy Creek. It's the district opener. Good win for them against the Coy Creek. Came in 3
for them against the Coy Creek. Came in 3-1 on 6A3, and so Coy Creek 3-2 and 0-1.
My question is, where's this offense been? The last 2 weeks, they've looked unstoppable, averaging like 45, 50 points a game. Wins over Orange Park and Turquoise Creek. Turquoise Creek's not a bad team.
No, they're not. Actually, their only other loss had been to Bishop Kenny before that. And they had that was a game where their quarterback got knocked out early, and after that, they were pretty much done. But so other scores of note, we mentioned Bishop Kenny beats Terry Parker 56-14. That was a 42-0 game at the end of the first quarter. Running clock last 3 quarters. The beat goes on for Sandalwood. Unfortunately, their 26th loss in a row. We thought this might be a closer game at Creekside. It wasn't. 49-18, Creekside gets the win. Creekside's a pretty good 7-18, though. But That was also their district opener, I'm assuming, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Big Side gets the win there.
Big Side gets the win there. Poor Sandalwood.
Do we see a win this year?
Do we see a win this year for them on their schedule?
You know, there's games on the schedule where you go, oh, this could be the week, but then they lose to Creekside and you know, Atlantic Coast was a game I thought potentially they could win, but nope, they blew that one too.
Episcopal gets a win 34-17 over Christ Church. Godby 17, Baker County 13. Tough loss for Baker County there. And I believe that was their district game as well. Yeah. Jackson 44, Wolfson 30. Shootout there. Those are also that's also a district game in 2A. Joshua Christian 40, Faith Christian 0. Mandarin comes back from that loss to IMG. They win at First Coast 34-14, and their district opener. Menendez, they won 11 in a row. Or Westside's lost 11 in a row. Menendez beats Westside 33-8, which pretty much means Menendez and Bishop McKinney will play next week for their district title. With both Bishop McKinney Summit and play Westside. Menendez has already beaten Parker, so they play a week from this Friday.
But before we continue,
Westside.
I saw this on Twitter a couple days ago. You know, Justin Marty said it well, and I agree with him, that the Gateway Conference needs to do something to, like, just for Sandalwood and Westside's sake. They need to play each other. They need to play Inglewood. They need to play Wolfson. They need to play, the bad teams need to play the bad teams. Well, Pinellas County this week for softball, they're going to divide half their team based on the record. So the good team play the good team, the bad team play the bad team.
Pinellas County?
Yeah, Pinellas County.
Why do they need to do that?
For RPI's sake. Because what good is you help your RPI if you beat an 0-25 team?
Yeah, it's true. All right, we said Middleburg beat Orange Park 28-0, so Middleburg stays unbeaten. North Florida Educational, NFEI 48, Kipbold City 6. Kipbold City remains winless. Ponte Vedra, good comeback for them. They beat up Fleming Island 35-9. Big district win for the Sharks. Providence over Cornerstone Classical 49-7. Speaking of the beat going on, Reigns comes back off a bye. No problem at Riverside 49-0. This is a rivalry game, but boy, not this year. Riverside, who's been tough in games, been close in some games, wasn't in this game.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Since they converted to Riverside, maybe 1 year they've had a really good year, but it seems like the transition to Riverside has not gone well for Virginia.
I believe that also coincided with O.J. Small leaving this coach, and that's also been they haven't been the same since he left. I mean, they were playing in the state semifinal. One year they went down the final. They were making it deep in the playoffs. 1 year they went down the plan the game. It was you heard about that? Yeah, it was a call that went against him, but yeah. But Lee had some good years as Lee. Right, it hasn't been the same since it became Westside so far. St. Joseph 41, Duval Charter 14. Yulee stays unbeaten. That's a district win for them, 34-14 over Revolt. And Zarephath gets a win, 30-0 over West Oaks Academy, Orlando. Corey yawn. Long weeks right now. But this week, one game tomorrow night. University Christian will travel. This is actually South Florida to play True North Classical. Long road trip for the Christians. They'll play a Thursday night game.
I don't know much about True North, but
they've got some good teams. They're in 1A.
UC will probably have no problem with True North.
I think Bradford or somebody went down there a few years ago and won, and they were pretty good at the time. Friday night's games, you got Ed White 4-1 at Atlantic Coast 3-2. Ed White trying to come back off that loss to Merritt Island. Fleming Island, they need a win. They're 3-2 at 2-4. Creekside, these are all non-district games this week. We're back out of district play.
Yep.
Sandalwood, they get a win this week at 3-2 First Coast. I don't know. First Coast is pretty improved this year so far, but Sandalwood 0-6. This is a huge one. Mainland and DeLand. 4-1 Mainland, 5-0 DeLand. And by the way, speaking of DeLand, they had the big game with Spruce Creek last week in district play. That game was delayed and then postponed for the night in the first quarter. They're going to replay it November 6th.
DeLand was up 14-0 in that game. I think the first quarter. But yeah, I found out
Yeah.
through Max Preps that they moved the
found out
game
through
to
Max
November 6th, which was the last
That's a
week
big
possible.
game. They'll play that.
November 6th. Okay, that's a big game. They'll play that one, as you said. Also, a kind of a rivalry game there in Central Florida. Fletcher 4-2. They'll travel down to Palm Coast, take on Flagler Palm Coast, who's 2-3. Fletcher 4-2. Orange City University travels across state to play Tampa Jesuit. University struggling a bit this year at 1-4. Here's a big one. Mandarin 5-1, heading down to Rockledge. And Rockledge usually is a pretty good program. That's a bit of a trip.
They're struggling this year.
Yeah, and Mandarin, obviously, we know how good they are. But they'll take a trip to Rockledge. Unity Beholds 5-1, and Gainesville. It says at Gainesville, but again, this game, if you've ever been to this game at Citizens Field, it'll probably be 2/3 Beholds fans. So it's going to be like a home game for Beholds, even though it's a home game considered for GHS. GHS will have fans, but that's a city game.
And they finally get to play at home.
Like I said, it's almost like a neutral game. But yeah, you're right. They've had 5 straight road games. They're 2-3 coming in, and it's going to probably be tough for them again this week. Quake Creek tried to come off that loss to Barcher Trail. This is a rivalry game. These are the 2 newest schools maybe in the whole area, St. John's County.
Oh yeah, I love this rivalry game. It's called the Serpent Turf Bowl.
There's a name for it already.
Serpent Turf. Oh yeah. Since the first game, they came out with the Serpent Turf Bowl.
Yankees
you got
lead.
the Toros and the Barracudas.
Yankees lead 4-3. There you go. I didn't realize that had a name already. Serpent Turf. I like that. But I did find out that Beachside, I didn't realize until I went there a few weeks ago, Beachside is located in the Beachside community, and there's an actual man-made beach there. At first I was like, they're not on the beach, and then they explained it to me. I'm like, oh, okay. But again, these 2 schools aren't far apart.
It still doesn't make sense because they're nowhere near the beach.
Well, I know, but they have the community is called Beachside. I mean, and they have a beach, I guess. I don't get it either, honestly. But Quake Creek and Beachside, again, those 2 rivals play. Orange Park 2-4. They'll probably look to get a win here at winless Westside, who's 0-5. Williston 4-1 hits the road to Bellevue. Poor Bellevue. Again, their tough schedule continues. Williston will head there. Mount Dora at Matanzas, who's 3-3. 5-1 Columbia hosting Manatee, who's having a bit of a rough year for Manatee.
I think they're 2-4. I think
that's right. Kip Bold City 0-6 and Ridgeview 1-4. So chance for maybe Kip Bold City to get their first win or Ridgeview to get their second. Winless Inglewood 0-5 travels to 3-3 Paxton. Riverside at 1-5, and who knew this? If you told me these 2 teams would be a combined 2-9, I'd be a little surprised. Trinity Christian 1-4 with Riverside coming in at 1-5. The Trinity schedule has been pretty murderous so far. Halfway through.
As bad of a season they're having under their standards, they'll still make the playoffs.
Right, exactly, because they're going to win their district, most likely. And Baker County 2-4 will host Halifax Academy. Mentioned Bishop Kenny. This will be my game. 3-2 at Tallahassee Rickards. Rickards actually only 2-4. They've had a pretty tough schedule. They did beat Fort Walton last week. Stanton 4-3. This might be the new Brain Bowl because these 2 are both prep schools as well now. Stanton and Wilson, 4-3 Stanton. Wilson now has won a couple games. They're 2-4.
Yeah.
Bradford and Palaca, we mentioned that game earlier. Bradford 5-1, 1-0. Palaca 1-5, 0-2 in their district. Newberry and Santa Fe. Newberry 2-3 and 2-0. Santa Fe 4-1, 1-0. Keystone Heights winless still will travel to West Nassau. A 5-1 Episcopal, who's also 1-0 in the district at North Florida Educational, who's 2-3, 1-1. Impact Christian 3-2, 0-1 in their district. Will play at Providence, who's 2-4. This is their district opener in Class 1A. PK Young winless hosts 3-3 Hamilton County and Gainesville on Friday. Trinity Catholic 2-3, coming off a loss to Wilson, hosts O'Galley. Interesting. A little bit bigger school in O'Galley coming over there.
Well, remember earlier the game that was canceled. They were supposed to play Melbourne Central Catholic. They're not running for nobody. And O'Galley has made the playoffs. The last couple years.
They are. They're usually pretty good there in the Melbourne area. That's where they come from. Which is also where Rockledge is located, where Mandarin's going this week. Crescent City 2-4. You put Orlando Christian at first. I'm thinking, who's that? And then I realized it's Orlando Christian Prep, and they are. I think they might be unbeaten. I know that they're 3-2. I know they handed Beachside their only loss back in week 1.
They've only had one home game. That was the Beachside game. This is 5 consecutive road games. They are 2-3.
Let's see. Bell. Yeah, 3-2. 2-4 Bell looks for their third win in a row at Duval Charter. Bronson, they get off the schneid. 0-6 hosting Foundation Academy out of Winter Park. Winter Garden. Sorry, yeah. As we go to the ninth. We're on pace. We're already having 3 game threes tomorrow if the Yankees can win this. The Cubs, Padres, and the other one is the.
Hopefully the Reds can make it for
I
us.
don't know if that's going to happen. The Dodgers just absolutely pounded them last night. Meanwhile, Brantford Interlochen, as you said, that's the game in Interlochen. You're going to be at Crescent City. So Brantford 4-2, Interlochen 2-4. Unbeaten Umatilla 6-0 at 3-3 Lake Weir. Chiefland 5-1, host Dixie County 1-5. This is a rivalry game, but I don't know. It's going to be a rough one for Dixie County, most likely on Friday. Fort White 3-2 travels to Mayo to take on Lafayette. This will be a good ball game. 5-1 Lafayette against Fort White, who's coming in off another win and a couple wins in a row. Hilliard 2-4. They travel to Old Plain Christian. I think this will be a pretty good ball game. This is where Mike Braddock will be Friday night. O'Call and Trenton, unbeaten O'Call 4-1 Trenton. See if Coach Brian Fry can get Trenton back on the winning track against RJ Pierce O'Call Eagles. Zarephath at Union County. Can the Tigers get their record with a win here against Zarephath? Westport 1-5 is at 5A. That's located down in Pasco.
Pasco, yeah.
3-4. Speaking of that, they'll also go down to Pasco County and play Weston Chapel on the road. Here's a rivalry game. Vanguard and North Marion. I don't know if North Marion wants to play this game right now, though, because Vanguard's rolling and North Marion's having a tough year.
Yeah, it's funny because when I got on to North Marion for basketball, all I ever heard is North Side, North Side. Yeah, they don't want no part of that. East Side.
Yeah. Soon they'll be heard South Side, South Marion, probably whenever that opens up. But Denellen hosts Specially Fit Academy. I love that name. 2-4 Denellen. Hey, Hawthorne's finally going to play a game. They've been off for 3 weeks. They'll host Bayshore this week out of Bradenton. And then Saturday, I mentioned the Northwest Classic. Rains 4-0, Revolt 1-5. This is not a non-district game. But yeah, Rains and Revolt will play on Saturday.
No, Rains Revolt's a district game.
It is a district game.
Yeah, it's only 3 teams in that district.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So 3A. Okay. I apologize. I didn't think they were in the same. Well, that's why. Oh, that's why they play early, because the district game. Right. They can't play late. Okay. All right. So. Well, it's almost 9 o'clock. Well, by the way, stay tuned. The college football gridiron report coming up. We'll be on 9 to 10 tonight talking about college football as well. Boy, that was a lot going on there last week. But also a lot going on in high school football. And now it's time for our weekly picks. And Corey, first, will give you the results from last week.
Marty went 10-2. I went 8-4. But as I told Marty before the show started, when I went back and looked at the results from the last couple of weeks, I realized I made a huge mathematical error. So I apologize for that. I corrected it. Marty now leads by 9 games.
Long way to go, though.
You are 56-16. You're 40 games over 500. I mean, over 500. I am 47-25. So I am now 9 games behind you.
54-4.
56-16. I'm 47-25.
Huh. Long way to go. We're only halfway through the season. So.
All right. Let's get
to the picks. Who's going first this week? We'll go ahead.
I'll go first in high school.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you that our first game, Mainland at DeLand. Good one to start with.
Man, DeLand's been playing well. Mainland actually struggled last week against Matanzas. Matanzas actually led that game at half. Mainland came back and shut them out.
34-17, yeah.
Yeah. It was a struggle win. I like DeLand.
I do too. I mean, DeLand's unbeaten. They were up 14-0 on another unbeaten team at Spruce Creek. They've been rolling. DeLand being a 7A school, Mainland's 5A. It's at DeLand. I think DeLand's actually won this last few times. I'll take DeLand as well at home to win that game. All right, we were talking about this surf and turf, the Battle of Surf and Turf, Decoy Creek at Beachside.
Well, you know where I'm going with this game.
I love
Eddie Jordan.
Beachside.
Eddie Jordan's such a guy. Explosive athlete. I mean, over 500 yards. They've been off for 2 weeks.
No, they played Bishop Kenny the week before. They were off
Yeah.
last week. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
they had a bye week, right?
Right.
They've been off for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's true.
They ain't played since.
Yeah, they haven't played since then, right?
So usually when you got 2 weeks to prepare for a team, teams really play well. I'm going
Yeah,
B-side.
plus Decoy Creek is coming in off being beaten down by Bartram Trail last week as well. Beachside's got so many weapons. I mean, that's the thing. They've got receivers just all over the field. They don't run the ball a lot. But Decoy Creek, the only issue Decoy Creek has is they kind of have a hard time scoring at times. But yeah, I like Beachside as well. I was very impressed with Eddie Jordan and that whole team really offensively. The defense wasn't great, but I mean, I think they have enough to win this game against Decoy Creek. Lake City on Friday. Here's another non-district game. Manatee in Columbia. Manatee has already lost to Buchholz this season. That was down in Bradenton a couple weeks back. This time they take the trip to Lake City to play the Columbia Tigers, coming off their first loss of the season in St. Augustine.
I've learned my lesson with Manatee. Manatee's not as good as they normally are. And Columbia's on a roll. I'm going with the Tigers.
It's tough to go to Lake City and win, and this Columbia team's pretty good, despite losing to St. Augustine. They are obviously St. Augustine's a really good team. I'm with you. I think Columbia will win that as well at home against Manatee, and they'll go to 6-1 on the year, or 5-1. Bradford at Palaca. Go ahead.
It depends which team shows up. Because Palaca had Newberry beat. They just made some bozo decisions with passing. If that team shows up, they could be Bradford.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen. Because Palaca will find every way possible how to lose the game. Bradford.
Yeah, I'm taking Bradford. I mean, Palaca's been close in some games this year against Newberry and Santa Fe, but Bradford's I think too good here, and I think they're going to take this district, but not pretty easily. But they do have Newberry still on the schedule. Yeah, I'll take Bradford as well. Well, I got to admit, we've had some great games last few weeks. This is a little bit less of a week for games, right?
Well, that's why
I'm looking at these games too. Now, this is one of the better ones. Newberry at Santa Fe, another rivalry game between those two, and a big game for both teams. Again, that's a district game. So these teams are in this playing district this week.
Yeah. I've seen both play. Both of them can run the ball. Both of them got two really good tailbacks. Newberry's got Caleb Woods and Wimberly. Although Caleb Woods went off in the second half against Palaca.
I know it's at Santa Fe,
but I'm going with Newberry.
Do it.
You know you want to do it.
I do, but I mean, I just don't. Well, let's think about this for a second. Santa Fe lost to University Christian by 32, and Newberry lost to University Christian by about 32 back in week 1. So it's been a little bit different. Santa Fe is going to be fired up because they have not won this game in a while. Obviously, they haven't beaten anybody in a while. Early in the year, I probably would have taken Newberry, but right now, oh man, it seems like Newberry's getting better, but it sounds like their offense really is struggling. I'll take Santa Fe. I will take Santa Fe to win this game at home. I'm going to go with the Raiders at home.
Okay. All right.
Excuse me.
Our first disagreement.
Fort White and Lafayette and Mayo.
This could be a track game. Both teams got a bunch of athletes. But I like Lafayette the way they're playing. With the only loss to Chiefland, and Chiefland's 5-1, I think so. It was a game somebody had to lose, and unfortunately it was Lafayette. But I like Lafayette in this game.
Yeah, I would like to take Fort White in this game, but I'm kind of with you on that. Mayo, it's tough. Chiefland went there and won, but I think Chiefland's really good. I think it's going to be close, but I'll also take Lafayette at home to win against Fort White. Oak Hall at Trenton has a little bit different game here between these two. They don't play a whole lot, but Oak Hall who comes in undefeated. Trenton coming off their first loss to Chiefland last week.
I might surprise you here. I'm going to go with O'Call.
You're surprising me? That's not surprising me because I actually am going with O'Call as well. That's who I kind of thought coming into this game. I just think that O'Call's got weapons all over the place. They're really good. And, I think that's what we'll see tomorrow is O'Call getting a win on Friday at Trenton. I like O'Call to win that game as well. I hope Coach Fried isn't listening. But Coach Freer will be happy with us, though. But the O'Call Eagles there as well. O'Galley at Trinity Catholic. Your guess is good as mine, but go ahead in this game.
Well, I'm going to look this up real quick because I did not look up the record. Okay, they're 4-2. They are playing in Ocala. Wow, I'm glad I looked this up because it definitely changed who I was going to pick in this game. Oh, sorry.
Wait, who? What did you look up there?
Hold on. I got music blasting in my ear.
You do? Okay.
Ah.
Why is there music? Your laptop maybe up. Okay. So you're taking O'Galley, you said, right?
All right, I'm just gonna have to X out of it. Egalley has played Cocoa, First Academy,
Ouch.
and Vero Beach. Their two losses are Vero Beach and First Academy. And even First Academy was only like 12-8. I'm going with Egalley.
Yeah, I probably was going to take them before anyway, but I will go with O'Galley to win that game. I think that Trinity is their schedule again continues to be really tough. I like O'Galley, even though it's in Ocala. I'll take them to win that ball game. All right, so next up, 2 more games to go. Vanguard and North Marion. I don't need a whole lot of time to pick up. Yeah,
Vanguard.
Rivalry game, but Vanguard's too good at this point. Even though it's in Citra, north side, Vanguard wins this game, I think, as well. And I don't know how long I need for this one either. Final game, Reigns. Yeah, we can probably just both say Reigns in the Northwest Classic. It's a rivalry game, but Reigns is too good right now. So only one difference this week. I kind of had that feeling with the schedule it might be the same. I think I might surprise you by taking O'Call, but the only difference was you have Newberry out of Santa Fe. So that'll be it.
Correct. Next week we go back to district play. So
interesting.
hopefully I can gang some. And the Yankees win.
Oh well, you're ahead of the TV then because it just happened. Wow, fly ball to the wall in right field, isn't it? So Yankees. We'll have Yankees Red Sox game 3 tomorrow, Cubs Padres game 3, and Tigers Guardians game 3. And then again, as you said tonight, the Reds can win. We'll have 4 tomorrow, so it'll be a nice day of baseball. Of course, football coming back Friday night. We'll have plenty of high school football to cover, as we do every Friday night here in North Florida. That's going to do it for this edition of the North Florida High School Football Gridiron Report. Thanks again, as always, to BFO Brady's here at Stark on 301. I am Marty Pallman. He's Corey Davis. And coming up, the College Football Gridiron Report in just a few moments here on North Florida Sports Talk. So long and good night here from Stark. I'll sit here.
Preps, they were playing a video.
Oh, I know.
There was, there was sound from that. I'm like,